Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. This video is about Victor Osimhen and the two infamous TikTok videos that we all know about by Napoli, and what the reactions have been, what the accusations have been, what the chronological order of everything has been, and try to really understand the different opinions, why we got to this situation, the misunderstandings, and the effects that also this had on Napoli as a football club. Right, before we get to the TikTok videos, the incident, let's talk for 2 minutes about the game last night between Napoli and Udinese, where Osimhen started and he managed to score a goal. So this game was finally Napoli playing at the highest level. A lot of people didn't expect this, especially with what happened with Osimhen and behind the scenes. Napoli finally played a very high level of football, with Kvara being the star of the show. He hit the post twice. He got a penalty for us. He scored an incredible goal. Finally, Kvara Scalia is back, and what a way to come back. He did everything in this game. He was phenomenal. And then after the game, he said something very important in his press conference or in his interview. He said, "This week we told the coach how we wanted to play, and we decided to do that." So that's a very clear statement that the team sat down with Rudy Garcia and told them, "Listen, man, we got to play how we know how to play, which is keeping the ball, playing similar to how we were with Spalletti, having Lobotka being the focal point, using that left side of the field the way we've been using it for the last 10 years, even when Insigne and Amsic were there. You know, that left side is the heart of Napoli, and now we have new players. We have Kvara, he's even better than Insigne, but that's always been our strength, and we used it so much in that Udinese game, and I'm just so happy that Kvara is back. I'm also happy that Simeone scored. He also really needed this goal. He got a good few minutes. Lindstrom as well got a good few minutes. Super happy with the impact that Nathan and Ostigard have had on this defense. Apart from that wonder goal by Udinese, they looked very solid, and they were also quite solid against Bologna. So big up especially to Nathan. And finally, Osimhen, right? Osimhen, he scored. He seemed very committed, played like he always plays. He always gives 100% for this team, which we love him for. And he let Zielinski take the penalty, even though it was still Osimhen who was the assigned penalty taker. He let Zielinski take the penalty, and Zielinski scored it. And when Osimhen scored his own goal, the crowd, as always, cheered his name. There was no animosity towards him. There was no hard feelings towards Osimhen. Osimhen, however, didn't celebrate a lot. He obviously celebrated with his teammates, but he didn't go and celebrate with the fans like he sometimes does. I think there's still a bit of tension, not with the fans, but maybe more so with the club, and his way of not celebrating too much is just the way that he expresses himself. For me, that's fine. You can express yourself however you want to express yourself, and we love you, Osimhen, man. If you're watching this, we love you. Us fans love you. Right, let's get into this incident, because it's already been almost 5 minutes that I'm speaking. But as I said, this is a long video, guys. Stick with me, okay, and smash that like button. All right, let's go chronologically. What happened with Osimhen? All right, let's start from this summer. Osimhen and Napoli are going through a contract renewal situation. His agent Calenda goes to the retreat multiple times, over 10 times he goes, and in all these day-long conversations, Napoli still are not able to get pen to paper on this deal. There has been talks about offers coming from Saudi Arabia in the region of 150 million, 200 million that Napoli have rejected. And obviously, I agree in this case with Osimhen. If you're going to reject 150 million or 200 million for me, I need a salary that matches whatever that value is that you put on me. if I'm worth 200 million, then you need to pay me like a player that's worth 200 million. I 100% am on Osimhen's side with this. De Laurentiis, on the other hand, has every single interest to delay this renewal process as much as possible, because the more he delays it, the more money he's saving. At the same time, though, Osimhen, I think, and his entourage want to put a release clause, and that's something that De Laurentiis wants to avoid, because when you put a release clause, you're capping how much profit you can make out of someone, and in this day and age, with transfer prices increasing exponentially, putting a cap on a player kind of doesn't make any sense, right? Because the cap that you put today is going to be peanuts compared to where the market's going to be in a few years' time. Right. Anyways, Osimhen starts the season, he scores goals, and then in the last 3 games, it's true that he hasn't scored a goal, and he missed the penalty versus Bologna, the infamous penalty versus Bologna. But no one blames Osimhen for these mistakes. No one blames Osimhen for Napoli not winning the game. Like, he is the least of our worry, even though he missed the penalty. What we cared about was the fact that Garcia was not having this team play well. All our attention was on Garcia. So that's a very key element as well. And Kvara, a few weeks ago, when he got substituted, reacted badly to being substituted towards Garcia. Osimhen repeated that against Bologna, but very blatantly, to the point that he had to excuse himself with the coach and his teammates for doing that. I mean, here's the thing, guys. You can be against what the coach does in terms of his tactical, technical decisions and substitutes and all that, but keep it behind closed doors to get explanations about it. Don't do something in front of the eyes of millions of people that puts the manager in an even worse spot than he already is, because that has a negative effect on the whole team, and it's also disrespectful to whoever is coming on. Anyways, he misses this penalty, and Napoli go on and make a TikTok about it. This TikTok, guys, is part of a trend. It's a TikTok that was created for Messi missing a penalty. So the whole audio, the squeaky voice audio that you hear behind it, is not something that Napoli created. It's something that was already there. It comes from a previous video related to Messi. And the way the TikTok algorithm works is that you take these already created audios and you remix them, or filters, and you remix them to whatever you want, and the algorithm promotes this, right? But we'll get to the TikTok later. Anyways, this TikTok goes online, this one and also another one that portrays Osimhen's face and his body as a coconut, where it goes, I'm not a boy, I'm not a girl, I am a coconut. All right, this is also another trend. But as I said, we'll get to the trends later. We'll analyze these TikToks, whether they are disrespectful, whether they are racist. We'll do that later. All right, so anyways, these TikToks go out. In the meantime, Napoli had organized a training session the day before the game at the Maradona, and then a dinner all together to try to lighten the mood, to try to work on team spirit. And it's in this dinner that Osimhen sees this penalty TikTok, and he is absolutely livid and furious about it, and he expects Napoli to remove it from their TikTok, which they do so. However, what happens later is that his agent then goes on Twitter and says that he will reserve the right to evaluate to take legal action versus Napoli to protect Osimhen's image. And this relates to the video about his penalty miss, because he was talking about a video published on that day. The coconut one was published 2 days earlier. So the accusation is on the penalty video. Right. Before this accusation on Twitter by the agent, this TikTok had been seen only by whoever follows Napoli on TikTok, which is basically mainly consisting of diehard Napoli fans or Napoli enthusiasts, basically people that predominantly love Victor Osimhen and had a bit of a laugh about these videos. And they also know the context in which these videos are posted, which is that the Napoli TikTok account is a kind of a loose nut. He posts things about everyone, really weird things about everyone, but we'll get back to that later, right? And at this point, this video was only relevant to the Napoli community. Once the agent posted that tweet, where he doesn't formally accuse Napoli of anything or doesn't formally sue them, he says, I will reserve the right to do that, or I've reserved the right to evaluate to do that. But in this day and age, saying that you might accuse someone, it's as if you're accusing someone. So you put all the damage into that person's reputation without actually having to go through the potential loss of losing a lawsuit or going through the hassle of going to court or anything like that. You just say, hey, I think I'm gonna accuse you of this, and people will just go and take that where they will. Anyways, before he said that, and before Fabrizio Romano posted that Osimhen's agent said that, this video, as I said, was only being seen by Osimhen and Napoli fans. After these posts by Fabrizio Romano and Osimhen's agent, this post, even though it was deleted, was saved by some people, and it was spread by everyone on Twitter, because everyone's like, oh, what's Fabrizio talking about? What's this? It spread everywhere. So Osimhen's agent, who was trying to protect Osimhen's image by getting this video removed from the internet, made it 1,000,000 times worse, and now every single person around the world has seen this video of Osimhen missing a penalty. So, if anything, he put fuel into the fire. He made this way worse. Now, Osimhen, still mad about everything, goes and removes pictures from his Instagram where he's portrayed with a Napoli shirt, and even stops following Napoli for a few hours. Now, he has every right to do this. We'll evaluate later the consequences and implications of that decisions. But pretty much once Fabrizio Romano got involved and this video became viral, pretty much all of Nigeria was on Napoli's social media saying that, well, let's read out some of the things that they said. Hashtag justice for Osimhen. Put some respect on Osimhen's name. This is why Napoli will never win the Champions League. Not because we don't have the money, the infrastructure, or a coach to win the Champions League. No, this is why. A TikTok video is why we won't win the Champions League. And this other guy says, this one is hilarious, but screw them. Another one posts Racism FC. To make matters even worse and put more fuel into this fire, Oma, a Nigerian journalist, best friends with Osimhen, close to Napoli as well, has been there a bunch of times, has been a guest of that club, has even been a guest of this show, for those of you that remember. He tweets and posts a 7-minute video reacting to this whole situation, and in this video, it's incredible to hear some of the things that he says. He says this guy single-handedly dragged an unknown club to the top level of Italian football. He is the best in Italy. Forget the funny award they gave that one guy, referring to Kvara. This is how you treat him just because he hasn't scored in 2 to 3 games? So he implies that all this treatment towards Osimhen, which is just, by the way, a TikTok video, he's saying that basically all this thing toward Osimhen is because he hasn't scored in 2 or 3 games. Guys, no one has been accusing Osimhen of anything these past 2 or 3 games. And he's saying that the fans have gone completely haywire and have turned on him. That's not true. That is absolutely... Find me one example where the Napoli fans have turned on Osimhen because of 2 or 3 games where he hasn't scored. If anything, they started turning on him, a small minority have been turning on him because he started unfollowing Napoli and because he deleted photos from his Instagram page, which we'll analyze later. But anyways, he says, there is a pattern within Italy. There is a pattern with racism. A place that says to be non-racial are showing their true colors. So now you're starting to accuse an entire city of being racist. No matter how much you try to explain you are not racist, what you have done opens the door to that interpretation. Okay, so now it's like art. Everybody has an interpretation of something super serious. Let's take a look at what Naples as a city and Neapolitan people stand for. Alright, guys. Italy, yes, they have an issue with racism. Naples is different. I don't see it there. Naples historically has been very open to different cultures. Whenever we have been dominated by different kingdoms and all that, we've always embraced whatever culture they brought, whatever food, culture, language they brought. Our dialect is a mix of Italian, French, Spanish, you name it. All right, we are a very mixed people, and us having a port in the middle of the Mediterranean, that for a long time was the center of the known world. Europe, Africa, and Asia. Naples was the center. All the goods, all the food, all the knowledge passed through Naples. And we'd always been very open to this outside world. We've never been a closed-minded society. And we've always welcomed all these people that embarked on journeys to arrive to the port of Naples. It's been documented everywhere. And we know more than most other Italians the struggles that maybe some of the African countries go through when it comes to fighting poverty, fighting inequality, fighting against higher powers that neglect you, trying to, make something better out of the situation that you're born in, because it's not always an easy situation in Naples. There's some neighborhoods that are, less lucky than others. And why listen to what I have to say about it? Because I could be biased. Why not listen to what Koulibaly had to say about it? A man from Senegal who lived in Belgium, who lived in France, comes to Naples, and he says, when my friends or brothers arrive in Naples, they are welcomed in such a good way. Naples reminds me of Senegal, as when a foreigner arrives, everyone does their best to help them out. Naples is an anti-racist city. Guys, this is a player who had been racially abused all over Italy and found a home in Naples for 8 years. If he thought that Naples was a racist city, he would have left way sooner than he did. And us as a population have always backed him and other black players in their efforts to fight racism more actively than any other fan base in Europe has done. No other fan base has shown the love to these players that Napoli has. That's a fact. With regards to Osimhen, I swear we love him more than Nigerians do. The amount of art on our city walls that will remain there forever, that depict Osimhen, you don't have that in Nigeria. We never turned our backs on him. Even when he did things that were super questionable, during the middle of COVID, when people were losing family members, when people were locked up, when he decided to go against protocols, fly to Nigeria, have a birthday party with tens of people dancing around him, and he caught COVID, and then he had to stay in Nigeria for a month and miss out on games because he couldn't fly back because he had COVID. In a time when you weren't allowed to do all this, you weren't allowed to have social gatherings, and Napoli was still paying his salary, and people were still defending him. We never turned our backs on Osimhen, even when it was easy to do so. And yet we get accused of all of a sudden he misses a penalty and we turn our back? No, he's done worse than that, and we didn't turn our back. Anyways, Osimhen is loved at Napoli. He knows it. We know it. Everybody knows it. All right. Try to find me one player in this world who is more loved by a particular city than Osimhen is at Napoli. So let's establish the fact that Neapolitans are not racist. Let's also establish the fact that Neapolitans love Osimhen like a child. He can do something wrong and we would still love him. All right, now let's go on to the football club. All right, right. The football club is run by De Laurentiis, and De Laurentiis, with his management team, have not always had the best communication. At the same time, this is a club that has put Osimhen onto the world stage. They have paid him a good salary, if not the best, the second best that people are getting in this football club. But yes, we have not always been the most respectful when it comes to communication. For example, with Mertens and Callejon, when there were contract renewal situations regarding them, De Laurentiis in front of the journalists said, "For all I care, if all they care about is money, they can go to China. I don't care." You're talking about two of the most loved players that Napoli's had in recent years, Mertens and Callejon. So when De Laurentiis or Napoli issue statements, they can be a bit disrespectful. They were also very disrespectful towards the Saudis with a leaked email that came out a month ago. I made an entire video about how our communication department needs to sort out what they do. All right. This is just a lack of respect that unfortunately stains our club. All right. And I've called it out before. This doesn't mean, though, that just because it gets applied to a black player that all of a sudden it's racism. Guys, racism is a very serious accusation. It means that you have intent to say what you say because of someone's skin color. That's not the case. They are just unprofessional, disrespectful, and at times assholes. But to accuse someone of something else is factually wrong. So that's Napoli. And how they operate. Let's go to the TikTok account, because that's a whole other universe as well. It's a disgusting platform, TikTok. I'm not on it. Could I go on it? Yes. Would I do better for the amount of followers that I have? 100%. I would do better. The problem is that it's a disgusting platform. And the way that you acquire followers is that sometimes you have to post very childish content. Things that, if you take them by themselves, if you were to ask someone 20 years ago to evaluate one TikTok video today, he would be like, what in the world is going on, right? But in the context of that platform, they kind of make sense because they all follow those same trends. All right, so the algorithm works that you take whatever viral content has been created, whether it's an audio track, like the one that was the voice, the squeaky voice in Osimhen's video, which came from a Messi-related video, or some kind of filter like the coconut one that's gone famous, whatever. You take those and you remix it to do your own thing. Napoli, in this very disgusting platform, has actually been doing a pretty good job. They've been growing their followers at a very, very high pace. And most of their content is pretty funny. Like, you have to have a bit of a 12-year-old sense of humor, but that's what the platform is catered for. And let me be very clear, we've never singled out Osimhen. We've done stupid videos about so many of our players. We have Lozano getting pooped out by a chicken. We have Raspadori missing a penalty, and we've remixed it, or they've remixed it, and it shows how he's actually sad because his crush rejected him. We have Mario Rui being a mechanic, and him riding a pig while a bull is hitting a train. Makes no sense. Like, they play on the players so much. Why do they do this? Yes, because of the algorithm, and also because, guys, even I do it. I have my meme page on Instagram where I make fun of Napoli and players. But then again, just because it then gets applied to Osimhen doesn't have to be that it's because of racism. And okay, why do people do it? It's a way to make life a little bit more lighthearted. It's like when you joke around with your friends. All right? If my friend were to miss a penalty in a game, the way I'm comfortable with my friends, I'd be making fun of them. I wouldn't let him forget that he missed that penalty. I wouldn't bully him. I'm not like, hey, you suck. Like, don't ever play with me again. Like, no, it'd be fun. Like, I'd make a meme out of it. It's the same way Napoli has been trying to do this with their own players. It's the way I do it with my meme account on Instagram. There is no harm intended. It's a way to take out the drama. It's a way to loosen up. It's a way to laugh. It's almost like a very Neapolitan way to have humor, where we take irony of each other a lot. Guys, when I go home for Christmas, you know what the first thing they do? The first thing my uncle does? He makes fun of me. Whatever it is, right? Like if I do well in something, he'll find a way to make fun of it. If I do badly in something, he'll find a way to make fun of it. He'll make fun of whatever thing is wrong with my appearance. It's not bullying. It's just it's a way to show affection, because you wouldn't do this with a complete stranger, right? You would do it with someone that you care about, and it's just a way to have a bit of banter. So the video of Osimhen missing a penalty, guys, it's not intended to be bullying or singling out Osimhen. It's just one of these trends, all right? Now let's talk about the coconut video, which had the same sort of intent. However, I can see how that can have a racial connection after having spoken to some Nigerians, all right? The problem is that, guys, us that we live in Italy, or that we are not Nigerian, we don't know all the ways that you might feel offended. For us, a coconut just means a coconut. There's no deeper meaning behind it. And trust me, if I don't see it, and I've lived abroad for 20 years, the 18-year-old TikTok admin and Napoli social media manager also did not interpret it that way. If they knew about it, there was no way that thing would get published. There's no way it would even have been thought by these guys to even create something like this. Clearly, though, you can have not bad intentions and still lead to bad consequences or bad results. The thing is that even though you don't have bad intentions, if your actions cause someone to be hurt, if they cause someone to feel offended, you must, first of all, apologize for it, and then you must go and educate yourself about it. Now, where I critique Napoli is that they have not yet apologized for this matter. They might not have had the intention to hurt Osimhen. They might not have had the intention to do anything racist, but it is seen that way by a lot of people, and so you must apologize to them. All right, that's two of the buckets down. Let's go to the third bucket. Osimhen and his crew, which is Osimhen, the agent, and Oma. All right, Osimhen removed the photos and the following of Napoli. And this is a very similar thing to this TikTok video. He had no intention to offend Napoli fans by doing that. But that's the consequences of his actions. So just like Napoli should be sorry and apologize for something that they've caused, even though they didn't have intention to do some harm with it, Osimhen should do the same with Napoli fans. He didn't mean to hurt us, but removing those photos, it hurt a lot of people. Because a lot of people are like, hey, Napoli admin TikTok did this. It has nothing to do with me. Why are you getting rid of photos where you are celebrating goals with me, with the fans? Celebrating a title success, which is about Naples as a city more than it is as a club. Anyways, he screwed up there. in my opinion, not with his intent, but with the consequences. But as I said, he's like a son for Napoli fans. We can get over it, and we have already gotten over it. When he scored and when he was on the field, people still adored him. Right. In terms of the game yesterday, he played well. He's committed. As far as I'm concerned, I have no problem with Osimhen. And actually, he should go and grab that bag from De Laurentiis. He deserves to be paid what his value is. So I am for Team Victor Osimhen here, all right? Let's talk about his agent. His agent is, and like all agents, ruin players. He put fuel on this fire. This TikTok video could have been removed and dealt with internally, and it would have been fine if it was really just about that TikTok video. But him going out and making a public statement about it means that he wants the public opinion to go against Napoli, to try to force Victor away from Napoli without him being seen like the bad guy, but with Napoli being seen like the bad guy. Guys, he is pulling strings here. And he's taking a lot of people down with him, including Osimhen himself, because this could have a serious effect on the relationship that he has with the fans that we know is strong. But I mean, you do this too many times and maybe even that will break. And also saying that you will reserve the right to evaluate whether to take legal action, that's very malicious, because as I said before, you're not actually taking legal actions, so you're not spending any money, you're not going through the risk of being deemed not that you're wrong, but you put the accusation out there. And in this day and age, once an accusation is out there, whether it's founded or not, it's out there. People will react to it, people will take it and go with it where they will. And you know this. You know how this goes. So this guy, he's got interest to being paid. He either wants Napoli to crumble and sell Osimhen and not have it look like Osimhen is the one that forced the move out so that Osimhen keeps his reputation intact, or he wants to use this to get Osimhen to renew, which is to say, hey, you guys really screwed up here, go make it up to Osimhen. Renew him right now. Either way, it didn't have to be public. The only reason why it's public is because there's money involved. And there wouldn't be this much ammunition if it was just kept privately. Now let's go to Oma, a journalist, a friend of Osimhen. What are you doing, bro, by accusing an entire city, an entire population, an entire fan base like you did? You are a journalist. You have to stay professional. You are a master of words. You are a journalist. You are not someone who can say words lightly. You have to say every word thought out. You cannot make a video where you accuse 3 million people of racism and of turning their backs on Osimhen after 3 bad games when no one had done that. That makes you malicious and uninformed, if not malicious. You were treated as a king in Naples. And this is how you repay them, by accusing them of racism after they treated you like a king? That doesn't seem like racism to me. Also, you threw shade at the football club and at Osimhen's teammates by saying that Napoli was nothing, an unknown football club before Osimhen. Are you kidding me, man? Are you kidding me? Unknown? And he single-handedly did this? So why couldn't he have done that the first 2 seasons? Oh, right, because Kvara wasn't there. Because Kim wasn't there. Because Raspadori and Simeone were not coming off the bench in the first 2 seasons to save the result when Osimhen was injured or when Osimhen wasn't delivering. It was a team effort. Yes, Osimhen is a big piece of that team. But to say that he single-handedly did that, then that means that he can do it again and again and again regardless of who his teammates are. That's not true. And to say that Kvara wants a Mickey Mouse trophy, come on, man. We're talking about two very good players. There's no reason to throw shade like that on Osimhen's teammates. Anyways, guys, this is my opinion on the whole situation. So many people made mistakes here. Sorry for the long video, but it's a delicate subject. It needs explaining, and you have to do things properly, explain things properly. Otherwise, you miss the gray areas. All right. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Put it down in the comments. If you like this, smash the like button and subscribe. And stay respectful in the comment section. Ciao.